Hi friends, it's Melanie. If you're a mom like me who has health and fitness goals, if you're eating a high protein diet, or you just want to feel your absolute best, but you're struggling with meal ideas that the entire family will enjoy because you got other people to feed, you can't just think about yourself, hopefully you find today's video helpful. I am a mom of 4. I have health goals, fitness goals, protein goals, but I have a wonderful family of 6 people that I have to feed in total, and it can be hard finding food that everybody will actually eat and love. So I'm going to take you along with me. I'll show you how I cook meals in my house and just hopefully will give you some new meal ideas to share with your family as well. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe because I have lots of content that I have made specifically with you in mind. Okay, let's get cooking. For my birthday this year, my 10-year-old daughter Nora bought me this very thoughtful cookbook. It looks incredible. I think she knows her mom well. I have a love and a passion for cookbooks. I could have a million cookbooks and still not have enough. So I asked her if she would pick a recipe for me to make, and this was her choice. I thought it would be fun to still make this recipe tonight, but I'm going to make a healthier version and swap out the tater tots and used some air fried sweet potatoes to put on top. So we'll see how this turns out and if it's delicious, and I will share how I make it. One of my most favorite things in life is sitting down and enjoying a really good meal. And if I'm not doing that, I am looking at what other people are eating, whether that's in cookbooks or online. I just love food. I'm such a foodie, but the struggle is real. If you are a health and fitness kind of girly, it's hard to find a balance. It's hard to find really yummy meals where you don't feel deprived and you're still enjoying good food, but also hitting your goals. So that's what I'm all about. And today's meal, the main swap that I'm making here is instead of using tater tots as the recipe calls for, I am air frying some sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are such a healthy, nutrient-dense carb. I love using sweet potatoes in so many recipes. So I'm just using the air fry function on my oven, which is super cool. I'm gonna just roast those sweet potatoes first, and now I'm gonna prepare some toppings. I don't know about your kids, but my kids go crazy whenever I cook a dinner that has toppings that they can pick and choose. So this recipe, it's kind of like a taco bowl. So any of those taco ingredients you can use for the toppings. So I have some diced tomatoes. I use parsley instead of cilantro because I didn't have any. I also have some green onion. I sliced up some lime wedges. Just whatever your family loves, you can chop up and set on the side. Now I'm going to walk you through the recipe, and I pretty much followed it exactly as the cookbook called for. So I will actually link that cookbook in the description below, but I will also explain to you exactly how I made this recipe. So I finely minced up 1 shallot, and then I have a few cloves of garlic here that I'm also going to mince and add with that shallot. And I chopped up 1 red bell pepper, and I'm not going to put these in the pan right away because I decided to brown my meat first before adding my veggies. So I have a 12-inch cast iron pan that I've heated and added a little bit of avocado oil, and now I'm adding in 2 packs of lean ground beef. I love that this recipe calls for 2 packs of meat because that's so much protein, which is what I'm all about. So I'm just peeking at the recipe, and it doesn't actually say to strain off any of the fat from the beef. And I'm just gonna quickly show you what my pan looks like right now. So that is a lot of fat in that pan, and I definitely don't wanna keep all of that. So something that I did that's different than the recipe, I cooked my beef first without the vegetables. It actually says to cook them both together, but that would make it a lot harder to strain off all of that fat. So I'm gonna mostly cook the beef, and then I will dump a lot of that fat out, and there'll probably be still a little bit left in the pan, but I'm okay with that. And then I'm gonna add my veggies, and that way we're cutting back on a ton of extra calories that we really don't need, and it's just gonna make it a healthier dinner. Okay, so now you can see that's way better. And then we've got a bunch of fat in this pan that we're not gonna use. So now I'll just add the veggies and the rest of the seasonings. So once the veggies have softened a little bit, I'm using a store-bought taco seasoning mix, but the recipe says you can also swap out just chili powder. So I have 2 tablespoons of a taco seasoning, or alternatively 2 tablespoons of chili powder. And here I have some salsa. So you actually add the salsa right in with the meat. It's so simple and easy, and it tastes really good. So 1.5 cups of salsa. Sweet potatoes, and on top, oh, this already looks so good. Now, I think typically tater tots are a little bit on the sweeter or the saltier side, so I'm going to add a little bit of salt since I didn't really do anything with these potatoes. I didn't add salt or pepper, so I'm going to do that now before I add the cheese. And I did 3 large sweet potatoes, and that seems to be right. Hit it with a little bit of salt. Steal one of those. Thank you very much. Sprinkle this on top. Now the recipe calls for, I think, 1.5 cups, but I don't think I will use quite as much. You can always do a little bit and then leave some on the side if the kids want a little bit extra. And that looks good to me. Yum. I can't wait to see this all baked. So I'm gonna put that in the oven at 425. It's just preheating. And that's gonna take about 20 minutes or so. I will show you what it looks like when it's done. And I decided to chop up a bunch of lettuce to serve with this meal as well. We have the tomatoes and green onions. I have parsley, but it does call for cilantro. I just didn't have any, so I subbed that. And then I have some fresh limes, and I also have a guacamole, which is perfect. And then I have sour cream, which I will give to the kids and Thomas. And I'm going to be using...
Can we go to the exercising? No, do an exercising video.
On the TV?
Yeah.
Maybe after dinner, okay?
Please.
And then I'm gonna be using Greek yogurt instead of sour cream because it's lower fat and higher protein.
She said after dinner.
Oh, yes. That looks amazing. Well, this is definitely a meal that I'm gonna be making on repeat in my house. As a mom of 4, it can be extremely challenging to come up with meals that everybody equally loves and enjoys. But this was one of those rare meals where all of my kids devoured it and they loved it so much. I'm so glad I came across this meal idea in my new cookbook, and I hope you like my adapted version and you give it a try as well. For dinner tonight, we're having some company over, so I want to make something that's a little bit extra special. It's one of my favorite foods. I'm going to make a lasagna, but I'm going to be sneaking in some healthy ingredients that hopefully everybody will love. So I'm going to be using a ground turkey as the main meat source and also an Italian sausage, and that's going to be pork, but that's okay. It's gonna be a little bit healthier than a typical lasagna. And I'm also going to be swapping out some of the lasagna noodles with a zucchini noodle. I love using zucchini noodles right now, or zucchini in general, because they're just abundant and such a healthy swap that you can make. I also got some light mozzarella. Oh, and I'm going to be mixing a ricotta cheese with cottage cheese. So that's gonna be interesting. Hopefully that tastes really good. I have a feeling it's gonna be really good. So I have a couple of hours until dinner time, so I want to get started now because lasagna does take some time. And with zucchini noodles especially, I want to cut them up now and sprinkle a little bit of salt on top so that it can draw out a lot of that moisture that's trapped inside of zucchini. and that way my lasagna won't go soggy. So hopefully that helps. And I'm also gonna roast some of the zucchini noodles or zoodles first so that it draws out even more of that liquid and adds a nice flavor. Lasagna is by far my favorite food. However, I rarely make a lasagna simply because it takes so much time and effort, and that is just not something that I have a lot of these days. But I really did want to make something special tonight since we were having company, and I was okay with spending a couple of hours in the kitchen. It's one of my favorite things to do. So long as my kids are entertained and not screaming or crying, I can enjoy myself in the kitchen. And today this recipe was definitely an enjoyable recipe to make, and it turned out so yummy. And with some simple swaps like using a ground turkey instead of a beef, that made it even healthier, and also swapping some regular lasagna noodles for the zucchini noodles that cut back on a lot of calories and also boosted up the nutrients. So I'm starting out here by just making my sauce, and I want to let that go for, I think I let it simmer for about half an hour, but you want to let it cook for at least 15 to 20 minutes just to give it time to develop some flavor. And also to reduce, you don't want your sauce super watery, otherwise your lasagna is going to be really liquidy as well. And also to help with that, I decided to roast my zucchini noodles as well. So after I let them sit with that salt, you could see all of the liquid on top, so I just patted them dry and then drizzled a little bit of oil and threw them in the oven for about 20 minutes. And now, since I am combining the zucchini noodles with regular noodles, I'm also going to be boiling some lasagna noodles, so I'm just getting my pot ready. And in the meantime, I am preparing this ricotta cheese and cottage cheese mixture. I'm starting out by blending my cottage cheese. And then I'm chopping up my parsley, which I'm going to be adding in with the cottage cheese mixture. I also have an egg. And then of course I'm adding some traditional ricotta cheese as well, because I don't think you can replace ricotta entirely in my opinion, but the cottage cheese worked so well in this recipe. None of my kids noticed, and everybody loved this recipe. So I've added in some salt and pepper, some Parmesan, and then I'm just going to blend everything together until smooth. So something that I'm gonna add to the lasagna that's not in the recipe, which I am actually including in the description below if you do wanna make today's recipe. Something I'm gonna include are some grilled red bell peppers, just because I think that's going to be so yummy and delicious, but I do know that's an extra step that most people probably won't wanna take. In case you're feeling fancy, get some bell peppers, give them a quick wipe, rub them with some oil, and throw them on a hot grill until they're nice and charred. And then I'm just gonna chop them up and put them with the lasagna. Yummy, yummy. Okay, my red peppers are definitely charred. This is why you do not leave me alone with the barbecue. I'm so sad. They might still be usable. I just don't know how smoky I want this lasagna to taste. Guys. Okay, some of them are good. I just don't know if that's too charred. You know what? Maybe that's okay. Maybe that's good like that. Is that good? Or is that too much? Well, I think we're just going with it. So I did still want to include some regular lasagna noodles in this lasagna, mostly because my kids I don't think would even touch this if they knew it was only zucchini noodles, but the lasagna does kind of help, or these lasagna noodles kind of helps to hide the vegetables that are inside of this dinner. Some of my kids did spot the zucchini and pick them out, but some of them did not, so that's a win in my books. This is definitely a little bit of a fancy, more time-consuming dinner, and not something that I would make every week, of course, but this was a great recipe to have on hand when I really feel like cooking something extra special and spending some time in the kitchen doing what I love, which is cooking for my family and sharing my love and passion for eating healthy foods and creating these kinds of recipes with others. After already spending a lot of time in the kitchen preparing the lasagna, I didn't want to go crazy fancy on the vegetable, so I just did a simple steamed broccolini, which is kind of just a fancier version of broccoli. And then I put some lemon juice on top and a little bit of butter, salt and pepper. And I did grill up some sausage on the side for anybody who wanted a little bit of extra protein as well. Mwah. Oh, broccolini. As much as I love to cook, there's definitely many days where I just don't feel like cooking at all, but I still want to eat something that is satisfying and tastes like a fancy meal, but with as minimal amount of effort as possible. And quesadillas are honestly one of my go-to lunch options. I often make these for my kids' school lunches. I cook them in the morning and then cut them up, put them in their lunch bags, and they do not complain about them being cold. I just think this is such a practical, great meal idea, whether it's a lunch or a dinner. It's simple, it tastes delicious, and you can get as fancy as you want with the ingredients that you add. So today I'm just using some chopped lunch meat. I have some of that light mozzarella that I used in the lasagna. I have some tomatoes, hot peppers, black olives. I have these keto wraps that I found at Costco, but you could even up the protein a little more if you can find some high protein wraps. That would be a great option as well. You can use whatever you have on hand, whatever you enjoy, and if you use a large tortilla wrap, you could just use one of them and then fold it in half. That's what I usually do, but 2 of these small wraps worked out to the same amount of calories, so I thought I would go for 2 today since they're on the smaller side. It truly means the world to me that you took time out of your busy day to stick around and hang out with me in my kitchen. I hope you got some new ideas from today's recipes and that you found it helpful in some way. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed today's video and you're looking for more high protein meal ideas or just want to live a healthier lifestyle. Bye for now. I will catch y'all at the next video.